What up, people? If you've been living under a rock, you probably missed that the Nintendo Switch was announced, along with some new info on games, hardware features, and the release date of the console itself. Now, while the Direct was overall enjoyable, there were a few things discovered after the Direct that left some people a little ticked off. So I wanted to go over the good and the bad of everything we learned from Nintendo on Wednesday. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, I make videos on single player games, and while I typically focus on RPGs, I do make a decent amount of videos covering Nintendo as well. If that's something that interests you and you end up enjoying the video, consider hitting the like button to help the video reach more people. And with that, let's get into the Direct. First thing I want to talk about is the first game they showed, which is Mario Kart World. There's a little controversy surrounding this game that made me a little less excited for it, but I'll get into that later because right now I just want to talk about what was shown about the game itself. As someone who loves open world games, I'm glad Mario Kart is embracing it a little. Free roam seems like a nice chill mode to just drive around and enjoy the scenery when you don't feel like racing. I can honestly see myself doing this a majority of the time if the maps are big enough to make it worth my time. The weather changes also can make this mode really good too. The Knockout Tour was the other mode that interests me. From what I gathered, if you aren't in the top whatever number after crossing a certain checkpoint, you'll get eliminated till there's only one person left, I guess. I can see that being pretty fun and also pretty competitive with your friends online. Everything else shown during the trailer is pretty much just Mario Kart stuff, cool maps, cool power-ups, etc. Like I said, if it wasn't for the controversy surrounding the game specifically, I'd be a lot more hyped, but I'm still fairly excited. Okay, let's talk about the hardware itself. What stood out to me the most was that the Switch 2 will support 4K and up to 120 frames per second on certain games. As someone who has a TV that can handle that, I'm glad Nintendo is making a console that can utilize its capabilities like PS5 and Xbox already have. It's also going to be 1080 in handheld mode, which may be disappointing to some, but for me, 1080 with 60 frames would be enough for me with many games I own, and not just the Nintendo ones. Them increasing the screen size and also increasing the storage was a given, so I'm not too hyped about that, but I'm really into audio when it comes to video games, so the improvement of the handheld audio and the inclusion of 3D audio support is what I like the most. I also like the fact that the new Pro Controller finally has a headphone jack, even though I still can't understand why the first one didn't. $70 for a controller without the headphone jack is crazy. But I'm curious, did the hardware and its specs meet your personal expectations? Let me know in the comments. Next are the enhanced games, or the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games, whatever you want to call them. It seems to be somewhat similar to what PlayStation does with some of their first-party titles, where it'll have updated graphics and run at higher frame rates. Some of the games that will have these enhanced editions include Mario Party, Kirby and Forgotten Land, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and also the two overworld Zelda games. While the Zelda games will have a few added features, Kirby and the Mario Party game both have additional content along with the improved graphics to make them a little bit more enticing to buy. Luckily, if you already purchased these games, you can get the new versions by purchasing the upgrade pack for the specific game you want. I'm not sure if there's been info on how much upgrade packs are going to cost, but I did hear that if you buy the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, upgrade packs are free with it. While I can't confirm whether that's true or not, that plus the other announcement involving Nintendo Switch Online is making the expansion pack tier a little bit more enticing. And while we're on the subject of Nintendo Switch Online, we might as well talk about how we're finally getting GameCube games on the online subscription service. Some of the notable GameCube games that were shown were Pokemon Coliseum, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, really excited about that one, and the game many of us have been waiting for forever, which is Wind Waker. As someone who has been kicking and screaming for GameCube games to hit the online service for a while now, this plus the potentially free upgrade packs might be just enough to get me to pay $50 for the expansion pack. If you're like me and have been hesitant to upgrade to the higher Nintendo Switch Online tier, let me know if this helped push you over the edge like it did me. With the extra power that the Switch 2 will have, it was great yet unsurprising that we got a lot, and I mean a lot, of announcements from third-party games coming over to Nintendo. As someone who loves and mostly plays RPGs, it was really great seeing Bravely Default, Cyberpunk 2077, Borderlands 4, and FF7 Remake be announced with enhanced versions or just support in general. I was also pretty shocked to see Street Fighter 6 and Elden Ring of all games, but I guess I shouldn't be shocked about what can be played on this new Nintendo hardware. Since I mostly play games on my PS5, I don't think the Switch 2 could ever become my main console, but it's great to see that they're doing more so that other people can make it their main console and not feel like there would be so many holes in their library. Next, I want to talk about the new Kirby game that was announced, which is Kirby Air Ride Earth. Not much to say because there wasn't any gameplay, but I had a lot of fun with the original game, specifically playing with my cousin in the city trial mode, which was just pure chaos, but some of the most fun I've ever had playing a game. Hopefully that mode will be back with online co-op because I honestly care more about that than the actual tracks and cars in the main game. Now, the last game I want to talk about is the last game that was shown, and that's Donkey Kong Bonanza. If I'm being honest, I was a little disappointed at first because this wasn't Mario Odyssey, but the more I saw of the trailer, the more I got over it. Funny enough, I still got Odyssey vibes from all the different areas and regions shown off. It just looked like it's going to be less jumping and more punching, which I'm not too mad about. And while I don't hate it, it's going to take me a little while to get used to this new Donkey Kong design. It's nothing wrong with it, I'm just so used to the old design, but I'll get over it. I want to see a little bit more in another trailer or direct, but this is definitely shaping up to be a day one for me, if I'm lucky enough to have a Switch by then. And with the games out of the way, let's talk about the thing that made the internet go ballistic, which is some of the pricing, specifically of Mario Kart World. Well, the Switch 2 console will be, I believe, $449 or $499, which includes a copy of Mario Kart World. If you want to buy Mario Kart itself, it's going to be around $80 digitally, and I even heard maybe $90 physically, but I can't confirm that last one. As someone who's somewhat accepted games being $70, asking people to shell out $80 for a kart racer is asking for a lot, in my opinion. Now, I do believe that Mario Kart World is the only game confirmed to be $80, while other games will still be $70, like the new Donkey Kong game, but that just makes the decision that much more confusing. Why make Mario Kart $80, especially when you have to pay at least $20 for Nintendo Switch Online to play online with others? The only, and I mean the only way I could personally justify it is if there's going to be routinely added maps and extra content to the game for free, which just seems highly unlikely. While I'll personally most likely be getting the Mario Kart World bundle for $500, which technically makes the game $30 cheaper, I can understand other people's frustration with Nintendo right now. But I'd be really interested to hear from you right now. How do you feel about the pricing of Mario Kart World or the console? Or how do you feel about the Direct in general? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more Nintendo content from me, click one of the links on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.